What's up, everybody? We got another guest for us tonight. Welcome to episode 4 of the Toxic Fandom podcast. I'm so happy once again to be with these guys. But we have the fourth lion in our Voltron tonight.
Is he the head?
He's whatever he wants to be, Sebi.
Okay.
We have a little angry Italian with us tonight. His name is Joey Jojo, or we like to call him Little Joe. Hey, Joe, what's up, man?
What's going on, pal?
It is so good to have you back. The boys are back in town. You see the background that I put back up, or the intro? That was our old picture from our old podcast. So I figured we'd resurrect it and repurpose it for this.
What happened
Hope you guys
to
like
the
it.
show that shall not be named? What happened?
You know what? Whatever. Well, there's no remnant of it on the internet. So
don't speak recklessly.
That is true.
It's all lore.
I did a live show last night of a political movie, and I was able to keep it straight, and it was very laid low. It did well. It's doing well as far as views go. So thanks to everybody who watched that. We got a couple of new subscribers from that. So welcome. Hi, Nancy. Nancy's a new subscriber. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah.
She was a new subscriber.
It might be Nancy.
Definitely.
I doubt she's Nancy Pelosi.
I doubt that. If she watched Steve talk about Matt Walsh's movie,
if you look at her comment she left, you know she's definitely not Nancy Pelosi. So she was like our first comment too. But welcome back. Tonight we are going to talk about one of our favorite shows ever. We've posted it all over Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that.
Uh-oh. Nancy took him out. It was Nancy Pelosi.
He is spazzing out right now.
He's throwing everything.
Oh, it's just me.
I'm back.
Oh, we lost Mike.
I swiped on the thing and it went wacky on me. Sorry about that. Before I forget, subscribe and hit that bell if you want the antics.
Just so you know, that minute is your short for this week. You disappear, and then Joe disappears, and then Seven is just me, and I'm like, hi.
Like a deer in headlights.
Oh, it's like that's the equivalent of the table dropping, Zeb.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, no,
I got about that.
All right, don't talk about.
All right, you can tell.
We were doing a podcast one night, and we were about an hour into it, and all of a sudden, the table that was holding all the equipment and the microphones and the computers that was holding the anus up, just collapsed and fell on the floor, and we all just looked at each other like the way Mike was just looking at you. But make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss any of these antics that happen on the podcast.
I listened to your popcorn bucket show, Steve.
The Beetlejuice one?
I did.
How'd you like it?
It was good. I like your co-hosts are good.
Tom and Matt? Yeah. Tom, yes. Well, what I want to do, Matt's going to be there for every episode.
Okay.
I want to change the guest every episode, depending on the movie. So,
okay,
because I can't kind of promote this on my social media platforms because of reasons, I'm trying to go back. All the reasons I'm trying to go back and find the people that we used to speak to and collaborate with and try to get them onto the show so that they can promote us for us. Gotcha. So Tom was one of those guys that I was on his show a couple of times. He was on our show once or twice with Joe on the Comic Book Corner. His podcast is called Not Another Nerdy Podcast, and they did a good job. They don't upload as much as we used to. They're more like a once a month or once every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
kind
I
of
forget.
podcast.
What did he describe it as? Most weeks off.
Most weeks off. Yeah.
Hashtag most weeks off. I thought that was very good.
Yeah. But he's really like his podcast. I was telling Matt because Matt was like, "Who is this guy? I don't know who this is." And I was like, "Well, they kind of did a show very similar to ours, but they were very good with the movie descriptions. Where I think we were more good with shooting the shit and making people laugh. They were really good at breaking down a movie, and I don't think I know I don't. I do not break down a movie very well. I take a lot of notes, and I'm very long-winded. Notes. Talking about notes. But he did very well at that. Next week, or this Friday, we're gonna do a show. It's not gonna be a live show, but it's gonna be a show where we get the guys from Dudes in Toyland. I don't know if you remember them, Will and Sean. I met them because I was listening to their podcast when they were doing a Top Gun episode, like the original Top Gun.
Oh yeah,
and
you won a contest, right?
Yeah, I think I was the only contestant in their contest, so I won. And they sent me a VHS of Top Gun and a signed Nintendo cartridge of the game Top Gun from the original Nintendo system. And that's how we got to talking to them. So we're going to do Top Gun Maverick. We're going to do an episode of Top Gun Maverick with them. One of my... No, I know. It doesn't have to be new movies. Listen to this one. My childhood buddy that I went to, I've known this guy since kindergarten. His name is, he goes by Nap now. I can't say his first name either because he doesn't want to get in trouble. But Nap does a football podcast. His last name has Nap in it. That's why we always called him Nap growing up. But he does an NFL podcast called Unprepared Podcast. And he's going to come on and we're going to do. Do you guys ever see the movie Necessary Roughness with Sinbad and Scott Bakula back in? Yep. So we're gonna review that movie for college football. Like it's back, and he's a football guy, so we're gonna do that. Should be fun.
Cool.
Should be fun. Yeah. So subscribe, hit that bell. You can find us if you don't want to listen to us or watch us on YouTube. I know that could be tough for some people. You can always find us on the podcast channels: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. Stuff like that. Today we're going to talk about Top Gear, the finale called what was it called? One for the Road. Was that what the name of this one was?
One for the Road.
Yeah. But before that, hey Joe.
Yeah, Steve.
You got any news? You got any news?
You knows it.
Oh, we're not doing that again, are we?
Wait a minute. Damn it, I hit the wrong key. Where is it?
Swipe again. It went so well last time.
Joe, you got any news?
You knows it.
You knows it. Well, now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
News with Joe!
I worked all night on that.
It's amazing anyone listens to us. Or listen.
First and last episode.
I worked all night on that. I was so and Sebi. Thanks to Sebi for the cartoon of Joe with a very thick beard.
My God, that was horrible.
I added glasses in the other one. I guess you never got that one.
Oh, no, I didn't get that one.
I regret this already.
All right. You're going to have to work another all-nighter to fix it then.
All right. Well, you got your intro back, Joe. So there you go. What do you got?
Thanks, pal.
You got it.
This Saturday is Batman Day. It's 85 years of Batman. And AMC is releasing Batman 89. The Mask of the Phantasm, and Batman Forever in theaters. I was thinking about going and catching Batman 89.
That sounds like fun.
I would go see that. Maybe I'll take my kids to go see that. They haven't seen that ever. Never mind in the theater. So
is it like cool. A triple header?
No, I think you got to do one of the three.
I'd go see Mask of the Phantasm. I like that movie.
That was a good one, too.
Movie. Have you seen the Popcorn Bucket?
Weird choice.
Is it a Batmobile?
No, it's
the
Bat Signal.
Yeah, very cool.
It's real cool. It's big and it lights up, and you get $10 worth of popcorn with it. It's $35. I was gonna get it the day I went to Beetlejuice.
That's not too bad.
It's really not. I mean, you're gonna spend what $13-14 on the popcorn.
But that's what I spent on the cup and the bucket for Transformers. It was about $35.
That's a big bucket too. You get a lot more popcorn in that Transformers bucket than you do the Batman one.
Right.
It's a much smaller, but it's a cool thing. It's a display item, which is pretty neat.
Yep. So last week you guys talked about the Goonies sequel that's coming out.
Yes.
Did you hear now that cast members are coming out and debunking that movie?
Oh.
Yeah, but
how do you debunk that? There's a movie poster for it. It must be real.
They're saying no one's reached out to them to show up in the movie, but it's also what's his name?
Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he thinks he's Michael Jackson. So
yeah.
Apparently, he's a good guitar player. I hear. There's videos of him shredding, like playing guitar on stage in his band.
Have you ever listened to that guitar solo?
Yeah, it's a lot of noise. but
Yeah.
it's more than I can do.
Really?
I don't. I can't solo stuff. I can strum all night long.
Oh, neither
but I
can he.
Yeah. Yeah, people pay to see him though.
I wonder, has anyone other? I thought some of the other original cast members, like
Sean
Sam,
Astin posted something on his Instagram
doing it,
saying
right?
like it's our time now. But the girl who was also in The Boys and played Andy's friend, she
Yeah.
also came out and said she it's fake. No one's reached out to either any of the cast members or Spielberg. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You know, it's a world where you can make up anything and it'll catch fire.
That ran for a couple days. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
It was all over the news.
Huh.
Yeah. Speaking of remakes and sequels, Seth MacFarlane wants to reboot the Burbs and put it to Peacock.
Who was in the original Burbs?
That's with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Okay.
Yeah, it's where the neighbors like do like a community watch, right? And they're mad at the one neighbor who's lowering the property value and all that stuff. Like the Weird Family moves in. Isn't that one?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was the house. They bought like a house that was like everything.
That's the Money Pit. That's the Money Pit.
Okay.
Another good movie.
Yeah.
Right, that's the one with the old guy is all in the camo. Yeah. It's the, They have it's the wild neighbor. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't
Just
seen
another
it in
reboot.
years.
I'm just tired of the reboots.
Tired of the reboots. Tired of the sequels and prequels, and come out with something original.
Is there a big call for the Burbs to be redone?
No.
Like that's what I don't understand.
I think they're trying to think of movies that people forgot about, and then like, okay, we'll remake this. It'll be new to somebody.
Yeah, but just do something new.
Yeah, I know.
Because there's somebody out there that the Burbs is their favorite movie. It's somebody's out there, and that person is going to go on the internet and shit all over the new thing, no matter what it is, right? Because it's not our favorite movie. That's somebody's favorite comedy. It just is.
Corey,
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, that's another Corey Feldman movie.
Yes, it is.
That's how I kind of felt about the Goonies. Just leave it alone. I don't need you to redo it or try to milk something more from a franchise. Just leave it be.
I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm just like, let them be.
Yeah.
Like, because nothing's really like what has been rebooted, retold, sequelized, prequelized in the last 10 years that you would say is better or worth doing.
Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick was really good.
Was it better?
If you want me to go sit in on that podcast and rip that movie apart, I will. They did a Star Wars.
They did a Star Wars.
It's a Star Wars. It's
okay.
It's a New Hope.
It was fun. I liked it.
There's a trench run. There's a wise guy mentoring the young person. It's Star Wars. He even does it via the Force at the end.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars. Right? He does do it, right? No, Steve, does he not? He turns off all his computers. He does it via the Force.
He does.
Yeah.
He tells Bob to turn off the system.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
It's Star Wars. I couldn't believe when I sat there. I was like,
yeah.
Holy shit, they just did Star Wars.
And I like Star Wars. So there's that.
But somehow he's part Luke Skywalker and Ben Kenobi. Like, I don't know. But it's, again, so, all right. So, fine. I enjoyed Maverick. Right? When I turned my brain back on and thought about it was the problem. But besides that,
Beetlejuice was okay.
Okay. And you don't have some great love for the original.
I don't. However, I'm saying these two movies, and these are two movies out of what, 200?
And how many shows?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Count. Yes.
Right. All the Star Wars stuff stinks. All the Star Trek stuff stinks. The Lord of the Rings is Doctor Who. Yeah, I just don't get it.
That's all bad.
All the Marvel stuff's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. I stopped reviewing the Lord of the Rings after episode 4.
He gave up.
I think I got 7.
I think he was the only one.
You're gonna get a personal email from them saying, "Hey, what happened? You were one of the last ones."
Yeah.
We were really counting on you.
I'm still watching it. I'm still watching it. I watched episode 5. I just didn't do a review on it. I don't know. I just want to see what happens. I want to see what they do. I got nothing else to watch. Yeah.
We got Mike Hers in the chat. What's up, Hers?
Oh, we got a comment here. The Four Horsemen. That's right. We're back, baby. Getting it done. Who's the what's this? Who's the Mets wanker? That's what he wants to know.
Hey. Watch it, bub.
We're gonna talk about the Mets, don't you worry. We got more Mets stuff. We got more Mets stuff coming.
Should I just segue into the Mets?
I was giving you a segue there for multiple things. I feel like I was waiting. Well, our timing's a little off.
Look, I just got my training wheels on.
I figured I'd end with all the Marvel stuff sucks. Take it away, Joe.
Yeah. Steve jumped the gun. What do you want me to do?
I didn't judge. It's Mike Hers' fault. You do whatever you need. You want to do Venom? Go ahead, go for it.
All right, we'll do Venom. Venom.
Yeah.
Venom had a new trailer that came out. It's the last movie for Venom
trilogy. Yeah.
Called The
I didn't
Last
see the
Stand.
second one.
Neither
Have you seen the second one?
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
It's not good.
We talked about this on the popcorn bucket, and essentially it's like the person who made the symbiotes is sending aliens to get the symbiotes from Earth. That's the whole thing. And the symbiotes that are coming down to Earth look like xenomorphs.
But Steve, they're using what's his name? Null from Absolute Carnage.
I don't know the story.
He's like the king of the symbiotes.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we read those books.
Right. Yeah.
The guy with the white hair.
Yeah. Everybody's making a big deal because they're throwing him into it. But to me, in typical Marvel fashion, they're gonna burn a really good character for a nonsense movie.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to win. He's not going to do anything, grandiose. You're not going to build the storyline around him.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's a wasted villain and character.
I think that's kind of the problem with Marvel in general, right? They're always going to win. There's never any stakes in anything, and they just kind of waste good villain after good villain after good villain. Like they really have wasted a lot of villains that would be huge threats in a comic book run, right? You could have a run for long run dealing with this villain, and they just 1-2 hour movie that is passable at best.
Right.
I don't even really love the first Venom. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
It tried to do what Deadpool did, but it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
To me, it's not really Venom. Venom has the big white spider on his chest, and he's fighting and wanting to kill Spider-Man, and you don't have that. So it's bootleg Venom. That's what it is to me. That's why I barely watched the first one. I think I tapped out after like 40 minutes, and no interest in seeing the second one, and definitely have no interest in seeing the third. I saw the trailer. There's like a giant Venom horse at some point.
Yeah, he venomized in the comics. He would venomize everything. There was a whole run of Venomize, and he would venomize all the different heroes, and he would venomize X-23, and he would venomize the Hulk and Captain America, and so he's just venomizing a horse. But I mean, it's stayed true to itself, though. I mean, it's been the same kind of movie for 3 movies. I think Mike used to talk about this all the time, but with Batman. Remember when Mike used to say, DC is constantly doing Batman shows that have no Batman in them, and he would hate that. And that's what Sony's doing with Spider-Man. They're doing Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man, and it just does. Guess what? They're not interesting unless they're fighting Spider-Man. Kraven the Hunter's coming out. That's gonna suck because there's no Spider-Man in it. Madam Web came out.
Why do they keep thinking you can and this is kind of pervasive in all pop culture. You're gonna take what everyone knows is a villain and try to make you watch a movie where they're the good guy or just
anti-hero
or an anti-hero. Like, if you just tell me a story where I'm seeing him fight Spider-Man from his point of view, I'm fine with that, right? That every time Spider-Man just pops in and kicks his ass at the end of the movie, right? That's fine. Where he's plotting and whatever. I'm supposed to like Kraven because
they're making all these
it.
Spider-Man villains like Wicked. They're trying to make you feel bad for like the Wicked, like the play Wicked. They make you feel bad for the Wicked Witch of the West, right?
Yeah, and I guess that kind of worked, and I guess it kind of worked with Maleficent, right, back in the day. So everyone just does it now, but
they did that with the new Star Wars show with the Acolyte. They wanted you to feel bad for the Sith, and they wanted to demonize the Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's all this, sympathy or empathy for
It's
the
like
bad guy.
relativistic morality is in everything now. Like your morality doesn't exist. It's only what situation you're in, and it's a crappy message to put through to a society. It's not good.
Mike Hurst says the last superhero movie he watched was Batman with the Twilight movie guy.
Oh,
I really like Robert Pattinson. I actually like him as Batman.
When does part 2 come out?
They haven't even started shooting it yet, I don't think.
The Penguin comes out soon on
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, really?
That's going to be good on HBO.
He said he won't do it again.
Who?
Colin Farrell said he will not do another episode. Said the makeup's too hard.
Wow.
Really? He said it's like torture. Yeah.
He looks like a totally different person. It's amazing that that's him. Such a transformation.
I saw a thing that said that they're still doing that as a trilogy. I just don't know when maybe they'll shoot 2 and 3 closer together.
I heard that they were just starting to do get in the writing room or get into I think they might be talking out the script kind of thing now. So I guess the next step would be to shoot it, I guess, but maybe 2 years, maybe, probably.
Again, I thought it was okay. Who has been a bad Batman? There isn't. They're all kind of okay as Batman. The problem is the world around them isn't very good. The stories aren't great.
I got to be honest. I've never seen Clooney, or I've never seen Clooney or Kilmer.
Kilmer is great as Bruce
Wayne.
Wayne.
Yeah,
he's probably the best Bruce Wayne because he looks like Bruce Wayne. He's handsome. He's charming, especially back then. He was very good Bruce Wayne. But there's none of them that are bad as Batman.
No,
I don't know.
But I dig this Robert Pattinson version.
I'm kind of done with that too. It's my favorite pop social media, pop culture thing ever. And I'm just like, whatever. Whatever.
Are you grimacing, Mike?
Speaking of grimacing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You'll get there.
So have you guys been following what's been going on with Grimace and the Mets? Mike, I'm sure you have, and Seb, I know you have.
Yeah.
But what do you want to say, Seb? Maybe halfway through the season, the Mets were absolutely terrible.
They started the season terrible.
Right.
And I think it was in the middle of when's Pride? June? In the middle of June, during Pride Month. I'm walking home from work and I look at my phone and I see Grimace throwing out the first pitch. And then I send a text to my friends. I'm like, I know it's Pride Month and all, but why is there a giant butt plug throwing out the first pitch?
Let me write that in the notes. Hashtag that 2 T's.
Oh, you're terrible.
But since that day, the Mets went on a freaking 10-game winning streak, and since that day it turned the whole season around.
They have the best record in baseball since I think All-Star break.
Do you want me to share the video you sent me, Sebi?
Yeah, and people are showing up to the stadium dressed as Grimace, and I took a video a few weeks ago when I was at the stadium. I'm walking into the stadium and I see this.
It just automatically goes on. I don't know why. There's nothing I can do about that. Sorry.
What do you mean?
But
just play it. Just play it.
When I hit the video, it went over Sebi's voice. I apologize.
Oh, that's fine. Just go ahead.
But here, this is the video. For those of you listening on the podcast, there is a person in a giant Go Grimace in a blow. You know the blow up. You know the T-Rex suits that people buy for Halloween that has the little fan in it that inflates it. Well, just picture that as a Grimace, and that's what this video is of. And he's dancing outside of Citi Field. You know, Matt, my co-host for the Popcorn Bucket, he works for Citi Field.
Really?
He's one of the parking lot managers.
Oh,
he's there.
I wish I knew this. I could have got free parking the whole season. Damn. Thanks for the info.
Oh, we got comments right after your butt plug comment. We got comments here.
I jumped out for a second. You see Mike's comment. He says, "When's Pride, Seb? Nice knowing you guys."
Oh, we got 6 listeners. Let's see. I agree.
Oh my god.
I agree with that, Mike. I don't really care that much. Oh, that was about Batman, but here's Mike. When is Pride? Well, nice knowing you guys. Thanks, Mike. Well, Seb.
I didn't say anything wrong. What did I say wrong? God,
nothing. You said nothing wrong.
No,
yeah,
ignorance is your crime.
Oh yeah,
you're good. You should see this movie I saw. It's called Am I Racist?
We know that answer, Steve.
But there's Grimace. There he is, just dancing up a storm. Look at him go, man.
Yeah. Is that the Mets like? Is that someone they have there? Or is that just fans showing up dressed as
fans are showing up dressed as Grimace? It's been happening all season.
Queens
it's
NYC.
always been hard to be a Mets fan. Why we make it harder on ourselves? I'm really not sure.
I think it's hilarious.
People, I love it.
People, we were so bad in the beginning of this season, and as soon as that day, like it just flipped a switch, and they just started winning, and it's been a really fun season to go to the games.
We lost.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So
here's the actual seat. It's a purple seat amongst all the other seats in Citi Field. And look at the picture of old Grimace there. Is that where he threw out the first pitch, Seb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. He has the glove on the wrong hand. I don't know if anybody noticed this. The glove is on the wrong hand. The first thing I noticed as a baseball coach, because I coach baseball and softball, he's got someone could have told Grimace, listen, put the glove on the right hand.
Well, I think they made it for the other hand, but he doesn't throw with that hand. It's hard enough. Hey, you tried throwing a ball from the mound in a
Your
Grimace.
biggest problem with a food franchise anthropomorphic butt plug throwing out the first pitch is that his glove's on the wrong hand. That's where you started with the problems.
It's the Grimace seat.
It's
because when you're sitting it, you sit on a purple butt plug and you grimace. That's why it's called the Grimace seat.
It's on the Coca-Cola corner.
Okay. Do you have to pay extra for it, or?
Well, here's the thing. So, yesterday, I went to the game and I was looking on TickPick to find some tickets, and all the seats.
Oh, TickPick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah.
And
you got me going in that direction.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And all the tickets in that area were selling for, I think they're $100, $75. I'm like, there's no way people are selling those tickets for more expensive now because there's a Grimace seat there, and it was just bizarre. I got seats by first base for $20, and the seats up there were $125. It was insane. So I don't know what's that's about.
It's marketing, Seb. Marketing at its best.
Yeah.
People will pay for shit if you tell them it's important.
Yeah, they made a news story by installing one purple seat.
Yeah.
When I first saw that, I'm like, oh, they must have done every other seat in the stadium, right? For it to make a news story, and it was one seat. I was like, Jesus.
Nah, I think it's fun. It's cool.
I think it's great.
No,
how long does it last?
I think it's there forever.
Forever.
Or until the Mets start losing and someone rips it out.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, Grimace.
What's the over under on how long that seat stays there till someone breaks it?
Or someone tries to take it.
No.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a row.
It is.
I think it's section 103 on the Coca-Cola corner.
I give it a year and a half.
It is section 302, row 6.
Yeah.
Seat 12.
There you go.
There you go. Because they put it up so people could try to buy it.
It's going to be sold out for the rest of the year, and that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which sucks, but
I can't wait. I'm going to wait for the Hamburglar seat myself.
That's in the toilet.
Fair enough.
They should use one of those Ronald McDonald benches. You know, the ones where he's sitting there on the bench with you? They should do one of those.
That's what they should have done.
They should have done that.
Put that in the visiting dugout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the bullpen.
Out in the
bullpen
bullpen,
on the
that's
visiting
it.
bullpen.
Put a catcher's mask on him. Yeah, that'll be good.
Very good.
Oh,
Yeah, I
all
don't
right.
think Shake Shack would be too happy with that.
Yeah.
Shake Shack, no.
Is that all the news?
Oh, you
No.
wish.
I forgot we're doing a 6-hour show tonight.
No,
Have
2
you
hours.
seen-
and
have
out,
you seen the
punching out
script?
too.
I know. I
That's
saw
what
the
you have to-
script.
I just put so many words to fill up the space.
That's all right. You did great. I love the motivation and enthusiasm. Joe's favorite girl is back in the news.
I had to bring it up. It's our number one fan. Allison
See,
Brie was cast as Evelyn in the Masters of the Universe movie
are we
that keeps popping in and out of existence.
We're gonna get
I
the
don't think
return of the
this-
Skeletor voice.
I don't think this movie's ever gonna come to fruition. But
No.
Forgot about him.
You remember him?
Yeah.
I can't wait for Tom Holland to come back.
Oh yeah, I gotta remember how to do his.
Twip.
It's yeah.
I have zero
Yeah.
desire to see a He-Man movie. Zero.
It's one of my favorite franchises, but you just can't get it right. So just leave it alone.
No, the Netflix cartoon was
Oh, that was bad. I tapped out right away. Joe, I don't know how you did it. You liked it.
I liked
right?
it. I liked it a lot. It was really good.
Nope.
Paid a lot of fan service.
Joe
How a
came
show-
to visit.
how a show that was about Skeletor and He-Man fighting became two girls having a cat fight and then making up at the end. I don't really understand.
Oh,
What fans
Joe-
were they servicing? Not one. I had all the toys.
Yeah, again, you're gonna do He-Man versus Skeletor for what? One episode and then you're done?
They did it for like 20 years when I was a kid.
And
I
it
bought all the
wasn't-
toys.
And it
No,
wasn't good.
It's abysmal. That's like they take these terrible products that were meant to sell toys and like we're gonna make Shakespeare out of them. No, you're not.
Right.
I just don't just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. You know what I really like about He-Man? I love the Skeletor memes. Those are my favorite.
Until we meet
Skeletor-
again. Well, that's what you
Yeah.
need to say right now. Just
They
leave.
pop up every now and then. They're great.
There's me and Joe stumbled upon this Instagram guy that does Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice for everything. Have you seen this guy?
Yes.
And he
Love him.
sang the He-Man theme song. He-Man, and it's just-
He hums the melody too.
he does. He's great. And the whole weekend that me and Joe were hanging out, we went to Target, and Joe wanted to buy some toys at Target, and we went down the He-Man aisle, and that's all we were doing for the rest of the weekend. Was going, He-Man, He-Man.
So good. So stupid. I love
So
it.
stupid. We got another comment here. Yeah, guess who? Mike Hers. Speaking of Shake Shack, I went there for a burger, and they asked for tips for taking orders now. The world has gone mad. Yeah, well,
Everything.
Guido loves
They have
tipping.
tips for
Guido loves to
everything.
tip. Yeah.
I like tipping. I made
Yeah.
money tipping for many, many years and existed in that industry. But the stuff they ask for tips now is insane. Insane. And I feel bad not
I don't.
doing it.
I look
Because
them
like
right in the eye, and I hit no tip.
they
Right there on
hold
the
it and
freaking
look at you.
I look right back at him, no tip.
Yeah,
Ain't doing
we went out a couple nights ago and like the lady comes over, swipes your credit card on the machine, then holds it instead of handing it to you to do the tip. She
Yeah.
like holds it, and I'm like, this is like, I'm always gonna tip well. It's just that's such an uncomfortable position to put everyone in.
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
understand what I would imagine it leads to you getting better tips because I can't imagine most people like 15%. Most people are doing 20 or 22 because that's what the options are.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I agree with Mike.
He also says, I can't do that. I've always end up tipping like some flipping simp. Yeah, no, I can easily do it. Every
No,
job
so-
I've never worked at a job where I got tips. So I'm fine with not giving them. Whatever. But All right. Well, at least Evelyn will be hot. Because
If they ever make the movie.
Yeah.
Who's going to be He-Man?
He-Man. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Arnold.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring back Dolph Lundgren again.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Every time we say He-Man, I'm going to do that voice. Just letting you know. It's going to be our, to be fair, it's going to be that. But
Heard.
with He-Man. Heard. What else you got, Joe?
So we have on the news docket, Beyonce
Mhm.
was snubbed by the CMAs.
She wasn't snubbed. That album sucked.
It's
It's
so
not
bad.
country. It's not
It's so-
country, and she didn't get snubbed. It's terrible.
It's really not a good album.
It's not.
Like when it
Well,
first
maybe-
came out, I listened to it with my girls. We were driving somewhere and we listened to it, and it's really bad.
I haven't.
And
It's-
she, as a big person who lives in the South and listens to country music almost, exclusively, it would have been such a horrible thing for all of the people that are in country music, constantly making music and touring around the world, and then her to get all the accolades for one album just because she thinks she can be a country star. It would have been very wrong to give her.
I thought
anything.
doing covers of Blackbird and Jolene and rewriting them and like changing the meaning of the songs was,
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous. Like Jolene is about her like kicking Jolene's ass
Yeah.
if she steals her man. And I'm like, that's not the intent of the original song at all.
Yeah, she's begging Jolene to not take her man.
Yeah, you're begging a
Please,
woman not to.
You're
yeah.
so pretty. You can have anybody. Please don't take mine.
I'll take, yeah. I thought it was such a bad album. Listen, the two songs that were singles are catchy. I don't think they're good.
Mhm.
Did Shabuzi get nominated?
Shabuzi. Does he sing the bar song?
Yeah.
Or is that somebody different? He got
That's him.
nominated, yeah.
Oh, that's a
He got
good song.
nominated. That song sucks. It's not country. It ain't country. New
It's
country
catchy.
stinks. It
I
stinks and
spent
I don't like it.
time getting all the pictures to put up, but Steve said I did
Yes.
it wrong, so we can't put them up.
No,
the
I did.
nominees.
I did something for you. I did something to supplant that. So I got it for you here.
There you go.
I got you. Not, we might be losing our listener because, who listens to country besides me and Mike. But these are your
Everybody.
entertainers.
It's
These-
the biggest
Is
type
it?
of music at the moment. That's why
I
she
think-
did it.
I think
Oh,
hers
go ahead.
listens to country.
Oh, okay. Well, as I'm looking at it, I have to be on the screen with this. So if you here's a comment. Let's see what Mike says. Not even close to being country, he says.
See,
Not even close.
He
And
said he
does
loves
love
country.
he loves
He
country.
does.
Yeah.
So these are the nominees for Entertainer of the Year. Now I've seen all of these people in concert in the past 2 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Jelly Roll, I haven't seen Jelly Roll as the act. I've seen him come on stage at other people's concerts. He gets around like nobody's business. Every concert I go to, Jelly Roll comes out and sings a song. It's crazy.
Wow.
But I've been to a Luke Combs concert. I've been to Chris Stapleton, and I've been to Lainey Wilson and Morgan Wallen.
He's
came out.
wrestling too this summer. Jelly
He's
Roll.
what?
He was like in WWE or
really?
AEW. Yeah.
If you were Jelly Roll, you wouldn't try to take advantage of this?
Oh no, of
I would.
course.
Yeah.
That's why
Guy
I'm
was
trying
in
to have all these
prison.
different podcasters on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put my face on every podcast I can.
Yeah. Like the guy
but-
was in prison and now he's one of the biggest singing stars in the whole world.
Yeah. Out of these nominees, though, I would give it to Chris Stapleton or Luke Combs.
Yeah, they're both very good. Lainey Wilson's very good too, though.
She's one of my favorites, and she is Alana's favorite. My daughter loves Lainey Wilson. I took her to a concert. I took her to a Lainey Wilson concert. She loved her. Here are the albums of the year. Casey Musgraves, nah. That Leather album by Cody Johnson is really, really good. Really good. I would
The
get. I
Jelly
would.
Roll
My,
album's really good. The Chris
I
Stapleton album's very good.
I don't find him as country though. I find him more as
Who?
like gospel. Jelly Roll.
Yeah, I
I-
can't argue that.
But no, I don't dislike him by any means. I like his music, but I don't find him to be country. But
He was a
I would
hip
give
hop
that to.
artist
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just found his
He's-
way into this.
He's not very far from. He grew up not outside of Nashville, about 20 minutes outside of Nashville. But my pick out of here would be the Leather album by Cody Johnson. Very, very good album. Female vocalist of the year.
Just where I think
give
she
that-
thought she'd end up.
Yeah, who? Beyonce.
Yeah.
I give that to Lainey Wilson all day.
I think
All day.
Casey Musgrove has an insanely good voice.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but Lainey Wilson's she's the
She's
golden,
way more country. Yeah,
she's she's the new Dolly Parton.
Yes,
you know, she's trying to take up that role, which
yeah,
I think she does a good
favorite
job.
Casey Musgrove song is Elvis's. The cover she does of
okay,
which one from the Elvis movie?
I haven't seen it.
Only Fools Fall in Love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's my brother's wedding song. I saw Megan Maroney open up for somebody. She opened up for, can't remember. Cannot remember.
But yeah, I think that's where she thought she'd fall, and I don't know who she'd bump off that list.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All
right.
I just think it like that. Like saying she was country and trying to come into the country music. I get why she's doing it because it's like no one's selling out tours except country music artists. It's weird how it's kind of become like they're all still selling out stadiums.
I'm on the lookout every week for tickets, man. All the time. I just saw Dirk Bentley last week. One of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life. Great concert. Really, really good. But yeah, I don't think she got snubbed. I think that's,
I don't think she did either.
Another singer in the news.
Kendrick Lamar was announced as the Super Bowl halftime show.
I don't know who he is or what he sings.
Yeah,
same.
I have no clue. It's like the same as The Weeknd. I had no idea who The
I know
Weeknd
his
was.
name. I can't name you one song.
Seb, you're supposed to be the cool one of us.
No. No, I can't. I can't. With
someone watching live, someone in the chat, tell us Kendrick Lamar's most famous song that we might know, and I'll pull it up on YouTube. But we got.
I don't know any of his. I don't know any of his stuff. I just like.
I know. I think he's beefing with Drake.
Another guy I don't care about.
Yeah, I know.
The Super Bowl halftime act used to have giant stars.
Tom Petty, remember Tom Petty? Aerosmith,
Prince, Michael
Paul
Jackson,
McCartney, Prince. Even Justin Timberlake. I even like Justin Timberlake.
Bruno Mars. Was Bruno Mars last year?
Bruno Mars was 2 years ago, I think. But he was definitely recently, yeah.
Usher was last year. Usher,
yeah. Usher. Rihanna. Wasn't Rihanna recently?
I'm also trying to understand why do they put hip hop music in football games?
That's what all the kids listen to.
Yeah.
That's what all the kids are listening to. For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the deep South, and you would think that you would hear a lot of country music at like Friday Night Light football games. All you hear is hip hop and rap, like in between plays and stuff.
Dude, that has become such a part of where I live now. And I don't live in the deep South at all. Like Friday Night Lights is such a fun thing up here.
Yeah.
Like this our last football game, they did a USA out. And the entire crowd's draped in American flags, red, white, and blue Eagles masks. Because like
great.
Our team up here is ridiculous. They won 2 state championships in a row. They're very good.
Wow.
And they haven't lost a game yet. And like it's just so much fun. And you don't have that community thing in the city at all. Like I didn't at first. I'm like, this is great. Then I went like with because my kids like, you should come. Like this should and it's a red out tomorrow, and then like they're gonna do a Jimmy Buffett out one night. Like it's so much
Hawaiian
fun.
Shirts.
Yeah.
Like, dude, down here, like if you don't go to the games, you're frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like if you don't go to the games. Like my daughter and son beg me. Like, Daddy, please let us go. Please take us to the game. Please take us to the game. Because all the friends, all the kids are just doing their thing.
Yeah, the kids aren't watching the game. Like they're all off tossing footballs or playing or getting in trouble. Yeah. It's such a cool community event. I didn't think I'd like it at all. It's so much fun.
And my football team in high school was really, really good. And I didn't go to one football game in 4 years. And we won the state championship once, or the city championship once. And I never went. Not a single snap did I see of high school football when I was there.
Yeah, that was sad. I think we should wrap the news up. I'll just do one last story, Joe. I'm going to jump in. And this is a completely me thing. And one of the biggest video games released in the last month is Space Marine, which is a Warhammer video game. It's been out for 10 days. They have 2 million live players online playing. It's not being covered at all by
Why is that?
That's the question. I don't know why.
Is it
I've heard
is it
people say
patriotic?
they say because it's one white male character just kicking ass the entire time.
Is he
No.
cis?
Oh, he's a space marine. Like he's very yeah.
Yeah, that's
I just
problematic, Mike.
I don't understand it. And
you should see this movie. Am I
Is
racist?
it on PC or is it on
PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and they're all cross compatible. It's like it's sold great. It's getting ridiculous reviews from the fans. But then I saw like some of the gaming magazines are like 6 out of 10, and I'm like, they sold every copy they had the first week. It's crazy. The reason I brought it up was Amazon is in the process of striking a deal with Games Workshop, which is one of the things I love from my childhood. It is a completely nerdy fandom that no one has touched, right? And Amazon's like, we want to do a show, and they're bringing in Henry Cavill as like the consultant producer. Is that a good or a bad thing for the franchise I love? Like I love the Warhammer universe. I think it's the best sci-fi universe that exists, hands down.
He's a big like nerd. He played Warhammer, and I think that's a good thing for that. If
how did The Witcher go?
He didn't have any input into that.
He had no say in that.
Yeah, and he
left that show because of how they were taking it, and
because and this is really nerdy stuff, but Space Marines and a lot of the characters are genetically modified super soldiers. They're all men, right? They've always been men. It was a male-dominated hobby, and one of the factions that were exclusively men, they slipped a woman into just recently. Like, we've always had female custodies, and everyone's like, no, you didn't, and like, no, we always have. And I was like, oh no, like, oh no, this is how it starts. Like, this is the first crack, because like there's a series of novels that is 60 novels in the Warhammer universe telling its like backstory. I read all of them. Like, that's how much I like this world. Wow. And I'm like, God, if it gets out into the general public, they're gonna ruin it, right? Like they're gonna ruin it. There's no chance they don't.
Of course.
So sad.
Oh, it was fun while it lasted, Mikey.
I guess. Like as a child, if you told me they're gonna make a TV show about the Games Workshop world, I would have like, that's going to be amazing. And now I'm like, please don't touch it. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it with your money grubbing hands. Like,
well, that's how they're coming out with another Top Gun. And I'm like, please, you hit a home run with the second one. Like, you're not going to.
Is Tommy Boy coming back?
Tommy Boy's coming back with Rooster, the guy who played Rooster.
Huh.
Is this one going to be Revenge of the?
Yes, it's the Empire Strikes Back.
It's Phantom Menace. It's going to be prequel.
The two towers.
This time they're going to do a Two Towers.
Yeah,
it's going to be the Fellowship of the Rings.
Bravo. Mike, you have a question here from Mike.
Yes.
Do you like the subscription-based online games like Fortnite full of microtransactions? I hate the damn things.
No, and that was so the Space Marine game has no microtransactions.
Oh.
And that's like one of the big selling points. It is a game where you can just play. You can play with your friends online. It's basically like Doom, like a first-person old-school shooter where there's just countless enemies. You're a big indestructible Space Marine. You're just hacking things to bits.
That's my kind of game.
What are the graphics like? Is it kind of like Gears of War graphics?
I put the trailer in the notes. Like the graphics are amazing. I'm actually debating whether I can buy it because I don't know if I have anything that'll run it.
I have a PS5. Will it run on PS5 or is it just PC? Oh, okay.
No, PS5, the new Xbox. I don't have the newest Xbox. Yeah. So, but I was just, it's getting like all the people who play it give it amazing reviews. But
the gaming world's going through a rough patch now, man, because the DEI is coming to get the gaming world. You know, just like it got the movies and just like it got the TV shows.
It got comic books before it got any of those.
I think comic books kind of started the whole
first.
Thing. Yeah, they went first. Yeah. With a Safe Space. You know, Safe Space was an actual character that they made.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Yep. It was Safe Space. He put force fields around himself. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Swear to God. Anyway. We used to have a song for the next portion. I don't have a song. I didn't use Sebi's new picture that looked like a really old, ugly me. So I didn't want to use
Oh, come on.
Mike Hers just put a comment that Assassin's Creed got a lot of heat. Did you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
see what happened with
it
that?
big time. Oh yeah,
No,
So for years they were like, we should do an Assassin's Creed, set it in Japan. They could be feudal warriors in Japan. It'd be great. And they're like, we're gonna do that. Black Samurai. And people were like, what the fuck? Like, that is something I don't even understand. Like, you take someone that's underrepresented in video games, right? Like an Asian culture. Why not just make a game set in Asia with an Asian lead and a game set in Africa with an African lead and explore any of the cultures that we're not taught about in school, right? Any of the African cultures we're not taught about in school, explore those. That makes no sense to me.
That goes into cultures and teaches you about the culture. It went into Italian culture. It went into pirate culture. It went into revolutionary culture, Native American culture. Like, it could literally go to Africa and make an African cultured game. And
I don't even understand. And I think that would be fun.
To be fair,
I
believe they are basing it off an actual real black samurai.
Yeah, but I've read about that. And I think he was more of like, we dressed him up like a samurai look than an actual samurai. Like more like an oddity and a curiosity. But I could be wrong. But again, like why marginalize the Asian community and not celebrate the African American community in their own game? I don't even understand that. Like, who did you think was going to be like, this is a good idea?
Yeah.
Anyway,
so the next thing that we used to do was a little thing called wasting time, which is this used to be everybody's favorite portion of the show, mine included. This is where all the yucks used to happen. I don't have a funny story today, but I do have an interesting story that I think you might like, and it has to do with this guitar. Okay. This is let's see what year it is. This is a 2005 Gibson Firebird Studio. Now, Joe already knows this story, I think, right, Joe? I told you the story.
Yeah.
Before I left for Dixieland, during COVID, I sold some guitars and traded some guitars because I got bored because I was sitting in the house all day. And I remember looking on this website called Reverb and seeing an amp that I wanted, which is right next to me, actually, right here. I saw this amp and it was in Philly at a pawn shop. And I drove down in the middle of COVID, like right when COVID started. Like, we were just on Zoom, like at my job at the time. And I was supposed to be on a Zoom meeting, and I put it on my phone and I drove down to Philly. And
did you have a fake background behind you?
Yeah.
No, I just turned my screen off.
They didn't catch on when they heard the Sopranos music playing in the background.
Well, I was already out. Like, they knew I was moving, so I was, I was already gone. So I don't think they really cared. But I was just being nice, and I was in the meeting anyway. But I drove down to Philly, and I had this guitar, and I traded this guitar for this amp and another guitar. And I came home with the other guitar and the amp and left that one in Philly. And I moved down here 4.5 years ago. So I was perusing Reverb, which is like an eBay for just musical instruments. And what I started doing was I made a book. This is my book. And what I do is I document all of my guitars. So every guitar in here is my guitars. And I write down the
coffee table book.
I made my own coffee table book. I just got to put legs on it. No, I need to put legs on it, like Kramer did.
It's a coffee table book about coffee tables.
Yes. So what I started doing was I started to document all my guitars. I write down the serial numbers and everything about them, about the years they were made and all that stuff. So I was reminiscing about the guitar, this guitar, and how I sold it, because this guitar was bought for me as a graduation gift by my parents when I graduated college. And I was very upset that I sold it, because I was in a band back in New York, and this was my go-to guitar, and I used to play this guitar at every show. And there are lots of pictures on Facebook and the internet of me and Joe singing at a microphone with me playing this guitar. Joe wasn't in the band, but he was drunk enough to get up on stage and help me sing some songs sometimes. So I'm perusing Reverb, and I type in Firebird Studio, 2005 Gibson Firebird Studio, and I notice, for some reason, I don't know why, there's probably 35 or 40 listings. I stop on this one listing because it looks to me like it's in an old-fashioned, like, Brooklyn apartment. It's got like old hardwood parquet floors. It has the really big moldings, like baseboard moldings that look like they've been painted 17 times over the years. And I click on it, and I'm looking at the guitar, and I'm like, oh, the price on this isn't bad. Where is it from? And I scroll down to where it's being shipped from, and it says Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I'm like, what are the fucking chances that this is the actual guitar that I left in Philadelphia 4.5 years ago, right? This was before I started doing the book, so there's no way I could tell by the serial number, because I don't have the serial numbers for this guitar. I'm scrolling through the pictures, and I see the case that the guitar comes in. When my parents got me this, it's a used guitar. My parents bought it for me used. And 2 of the latches on the case were broken. So I went to the hardware store, and I bought like latches for like a trunk. Like, they're giant. They're like for like a treasure chest. That's how big these friggin' things are, right? And I installed these 2 giant latches onto the case, and the fucking case was the same case on the Reverb listing.
Shiver me timbers.
Shiver me timbers, right? So I email the guy, and I'm like, hey, did you happen to buy this from another person, or did you
buy this from a New Yorker that gave you COVID?
Like, did you buy this from a person, or did you buy this from a pawn shop? And he goes, I bought it from a pawn shop. The guy told me that a teacher brought it in and traded it for an amp. I was like, no way. Because in New York, that's what my job was. I was a teacher. And I was like, well, this is my guitar. I was like, I sold that guitar to the pawn shop, and I would love to have it back. And he goes, this is amazing. I would love for you to have it back. And he actually gave me another $200 off. And there it is. I got my guitar back, reconnected with it after 4.5 years.
Wow.
Sold.
That's wild.
Sold in Philadelphia. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And now I documented it properly in the book with the serial number. And the whole reason I started doing that was because I bought a book called Marr's Guitars, and it's about Johnny Marr, who is the guitar player for the Smiths. One of the Oasis, like the people that influenced the band Oasis that we love so much. They always talk about the Smiths, and this guy Johnny Marr actually played on a bunch of Oasis songs. So he came out with a book called Marr's Guitars, and he has all these. He has, thousands of guitars, so the book's pretty big, and he has all these stories about, oh, he sold this guitar and then got it back. And I'm like, how do these people get these guitars back? That's so insane. Like how are they supposed to know that this guitar is the one that they had if they didn't write down the serial numbers or have a specific thing about it? And then like 2 weeks later, this happened to me. So I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
That's wild.
I was hoping you rose the price $200.
Yeah, that's really what was going to happen. Oh, it means something to you? Double.
Hey,
nerd.
He was really cool about it. He was really cool about it. He shipped it the next day. It came in all in one piece, and I gotta say, it's not as good as I remembered, but that's okay. It's all right though, because it means something to me. It really does. It still plays really well.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's my wasting time.
So I did something rather old manish. When I left work, right? Like my wife and I work reasonably close to each other. I was like, I had some time to pick her up before I had to pick her up. I was like, I'm going to stop and get gas. And I work in what you might call a less than stellar neighborhood. And the gas station, I went over, and like the pump, the credit card thing was like half ripped off the pump.
Oh.
So I'm like, probably don't want to put my credit card in that. Like, I'm guessing somebody was messing with that. So I went inside. I'm like, I'll go in here. I'll get a water. I'll grab like chips, and I'll pay for the gasoline. I walk inside. There is a man with the worst case of Tourette's I have ever seen. Ever. He is continuously cursing in Spanish, like violently screaming the entire time as he furiously scratches scratchers off. And then he just
Mhm.
screams and he just puts his hand down. The guy gives him another one. This goes on. There's a bunch of people. I finally get up to the line. I'm so flustered by this man right next to me, like screaming, motherfucker, like screaming. I just pay the man. I'm like, put 20 on pump 1. I take my water and my little snack. I go out to my car. I crack open the water, take a big drink, and I go, I got to go pick up my wife. I'm 3/4 of the way to my wife. My gas light turns on. Do you know why?
You didn't pump your
No.
gas.
I was so flustered I didn't pump the fucking gas.
Oh, Mike.
It's the strawberries all over again.
I didn't pump the fucking gas.
Oh, my.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I'm getting old.
And you don't get flustered. You don't get flustered by people like that.
No, generally not, especially where I work and where I have worked.
Yeah.
No, it was just such a scene, right? Like it was so wild and like I normally don't get flustered. Like it was so odd of me. Like I just got back in the car, cracked open my little chips, had a couple chips, my Poland spring water, and off I went. And then I got like 3/4 of the way there, and I'm like, where's my gas light on? Motherfucker. And I'm like, I can't go back because there's no way the next guy didn't go free 20 and just take it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh my God, I felt so dumb.
Did you tell your wife?
No,
My wife.
no, I went, we got to get gas. She's in the car.
She's like, why? $20 wasn't enough?
Did
Nope,
they get
not
gas
enough.
this morning? I thought you were getting gas.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot. I was rushing. I didn't want you waiting. I rushed over you. I really rushed right over. Do you have chips in the water? I really rushed right over.
They were out of gas over there. What do you mean they were out of gas? They're out of gas.
Oh, I really felt so stupid. Like,
Like a silly goose, huh?
Yeah. Didn't pump it.
That's funny.
My wife
My wife.
what is a thank you is a Tourette's magnet. So yeah, exactly. Every time my wife and I went to the city to see a show or a concert or something like that, and we had to take the train. We didn't take the train very much. We drove as much as we could. We're drivers. And whenever we got on the train, the weirdest, like she just had that face. The weird people knew I can make that girl feel really uncomfortable. And they just swarmed to her. So anytime there was a person with Tourette's on a train, my wife just attracted them to him, and they would just get up in her face. And then I'd have to freaking yell at a Tourette's guy, and we'd have to switch cars. It must have happened 4 or 5 times while we were dating and going to the city all the time. So I feel your pain there, Mike.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I go to this gas station a lot. This guy walks into the gas station every day at 3:00. Every day, gets his $20 worth of scratch offs and just and he's wild, dude. And if he wins, he slams it down on the counter, screaming. Not violent at all, just screaming at the top of his lungs. A lot of Spanish, a lot of real bad words, like wild shit. He's screaming and cursing. But I've seen him before, but the place I don't know why it flustered me so bad that day. It was so weird. He's there every day. If I go tomorrow, he'll be there.
He owes you $20 for gas.
He doesn't. He doesn't have a bike. He walks.
Oh.
Like he does not have a car. Trust me.
Sebby, Joe, you got any wasting time?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Joe.
Go ahead.
So Steve was talking about our little trip to Target. Do you remember what we bought, Steve?
I remember what we bought. I bought a board game for my kids, and you bought yourself tiny little miniature Lord of the Rings swords that you were so excited to buy because they didn't have them in Queens, and he was so upset that he went all the way to Target.
They're full size.
They're life size for Joe.
What are you doing, you bastard? You gotta be quick.
I didn't want to stomp all over Steve.
Do you want to guess where those toys are, Steve?
Sure. Where are those toys, Joe?
The trash.
Why? What happened? Tell us what they are. Tell the audience what they were.
So you get these little balls here, right? And inside is
it's much smaller than I thought.
Oh, shit.
I thought they were gonna be like letter opener size.
No.
Not like nail clipper sized.
You get these
smaller
molds,
than
and
that.
you mold the weapons from Lord of the Rings.
What are you supposed to melt?
They give you like a liquid resin kind of thing,
Okay.
Not silver.
right? So you do
Mithrils,
it,
then.
whatever.
Mithril.
So I got two. I got Sting, and I got the broken sword. So
That
Shards
was
of North.
literally a dwarf forging weapons.
yeah.
Dude, he went into the Target and he chooses two of these things and he goes, I really hope I get Sting and Narsil. I want those. Those are the two I want. If I get two of the same ones, I'm gonna be real mad.
Yep. Yep.
Gonna have a feud like a dwarf would.
And we get in the car and he's opening them up in the car. I swear to God, I took my son to go to friggin' Target. And he's opening them up.
Absolute garbage.
And he opens it real slow, like the anticipation, and he got Sting, and we're like, yeah, you got Sting, good for you. And then he does the next one, and I'm like, oh my God, buddy, you got the two you wanted. It was great. It was so great. And then I thought he was going to be nice and go home and mold them with my kids. And he didn't. He hid them right away. He's like, those kids aren't touching this shit.
We were busy the whole weekend.
No, I know. I'm just busting.
Oh
So what
my
happened?
God.
So you go home and you molded them.
Nothing takes. Like you don't you pull out the sword and it's still liquid.
You had to do something wrong.
You put the liquid in, you leave it in the sun for 60 minutes. I left it in the sun for a day and a half.
Oh, there.
Oh,
It melted.
man.
It's UV resin.
Yep.
Mm.
Absolute
You should
garbage.
complain. You should complain. Write a letter.
For a $10 toy? No, I'm not you guys.
$10 each, man.
I'm not calling Mr. Lord of the Rings and be like, hey, your $10 toy was garbage.
I gotta call Spectrum again. We're gonna have a fight.
Uh-oh.
Me and Hashish over there in Indonesia are
I
gonna
don't
have to have a
understand.
fight.
You have a legal cable.
I need internet. I buy the internet. It's the only thing I buy. I don't buy cable. And it's not illegal. It's Superbox.
That's super
I'm trying.
illegal.
Yeah, Michael. I'm trying to get a.
Full of all the illegal things.
I'm trying to get him an
Super
endorsement here,
illegal.
Mike.
Okay. I don't think we care about endorsing illegal things. Who cares? But
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely illegal.
Yeah. So that stinks, Joe. Sorry to hear that.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh,
That's all right.
Did you have to paint them, or did they come already colored? No.
They just the resin is the color of whatever the
Oh, I gotcha.
blade of the sword
Okay.
would be. Yeah. Most of them are all just silver.
That stinks.
Yeah. I was like, I tried it twice. After the second time, I'm like, it's garbage.
Tried it twice, meaning you bought new ones and tried it again?
So they give you 2 hilts of each weapon, I guess, if it doesn't take the first time.
Oh,
But
so
there's
they know
no
it's
real
coming
way
up.
to. Right. There's like no real way to clean out the mold that didn't take. Yeah.
Mm.
So like once you use it and you fuck it up, it's
Yeah.
essentially garbage now.
Forged in
should've gotten
Fire,
Marcio.
Joe edition.
Because if it broke, it's just fine.
That's the only one I have. It's just pieces.
That's it. Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Sebi, what do you got?
Oh, nothing. I've been really busy at work, but I went to I guess my last regular season baseball game of the season yesterday. Some buddies from work, we tailgated at City Field, and we were tailgating, just shooting the shit, and all of a sudden, this golf cart pulls up next to us, and it stops, and we all look, and it's a police officer and a woman driving.
It would have been way better if it was the Hamburglar and he ran over, stole your burgers, and off he went.
I was hoping it was Keith Hernandez and he spits on you or something.
The Mets are really leaning into this now.
So she stops and she's like, "Oh, hey, boys," and she waves, and I'm like, "Who the hell is this woman?" And then she takes off. I'm like, "Who the hell was that?" And then as soon as she turns the corner, I was like, "Holy shit, that's Alex Cohen." It was the owner of the Mets' wife. She was just going around the parking lot, just saying hi to fans and shit. So really cool. It's just this season, like the whole Grimace thing, like it's kind of reminds me of like, huh?
throwing everybody off.
Yeah,
The whole
no,
Grimace
but
thing.
every time I went to the stadium this year, like I run into like some sort of famous Met fan, like Frank the Tank. I ran into him yesterday. I don't know if you know who that is. He's on Barstool Sports, and he's a really negative guy. But I ran into him yesterday. Joe, I ran into Pon yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Oh, upon the tattoo guy.
Yes, he's a big Met fan. I ran into him. It was a really fun season going to the stadium and go and watch the Mets. I was kind of upset that it was the last game, like the last regular home game that I would be able to go to. I don't think I'm going to go to any playoff games. I'm not going to drop like $500 for tickets or anything like that. But it was a fun season and whatever. Yeah. So that's about it, though, for me.
All right. Well, that's going to lead us to our main topic tonight, which is sadly the Grand Tour. One for the road. It's the culmination of almost 3 decades worth of episodes from our favorite TV show, Top Gear / the Grand Tour. I think Mike is probably the leading person in this group with this show as far as knowledge goes. So I'm going to let Mike take over from here because he wrote a really nice outline for this. So go for it, Mike.
I mean, we talked about it a lot last week. This is just one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It like I liked every kind of teenage guy likes cars. This show made me fall in love with cars and who they were and what they did, and it made me jealous of the type of relationship they had and the working relationship. Because like I always worked with fun people, right? But I never had that. Like they just seemed like it's like they're working with their best friends, which is it's. I just fell in love with the entire show. So for anyone who doesn't know, it was a British, they call a motoring show, like a car review show that 3 gentlemen hosted, Jeremy, Richard, and James. And they really made it their own. Like they did review cars, but they started to have adventures and build things and have all these kind of fun side projects in the show that were always automotive related that really kind of became the focus of the show as it went on more and more. And eventually they got thrown off of the BBC and they ended up on Amazon for a while. And now they've finished their tenure at Amazon. I mean, they are older gentlemen now. They did it for like 22, 23 years. But overall, one of my absolute favorite shows. It is a show that said this last week. Like I will put on while I'm washing the dishes. I will put on while I'm doing work around the house just to have on in the background because I love the show so much. So I am sad to see it go.
This was a show that I couldn't wait to watch the newest episode when it came out because it was a weekly show. When it was Top Gear on the BBC, it was a weekly show. And I think I got into it around like the last 7 seasons on the BBC. And I remember like me and my wife would, we would wait for it to come out and watch it together. And she does not like cars by any means. She's not into cars at all, but she loved watching the show because of what these 3 guys brought to the table every single week. And like Mike said, it was just, and we said this before, this is kind of like what we're trying to do with this podcast, where it's just us being friends with each other. And if we don't get any listeners, we don't care. Right.
I think ultimately, like when you're like, my daughter's getting ready for college, right? So you talk about like, hey, what kind of career you want to have? You want to have one you love and that you work with people you really like. And I doubt any of us have that, right? I don't know if many people at all get that, right? Have a job you genuinely love. These guys actually made a ton of money doing it. They genuinely love their job and love the people they work with. I think that is so rare. This was almost like, I don't know, like wish fulfillment watching them do this. Right? I think that's why anyone was attracted to it. Like they genuinely love what they do. Right? You walk into most places, you're like, oh, these people don't want to be here. They'd rather die than do the job they're doing. But these guys genuinely loved what they did and each other. And like, I think that's so rare. I think that's why it worked so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how'd you like the finale? I thought the finale was, I don't think this was their best work by any means. I enjoyed it.
It was
I-
fun.
you know,
I would actually say it's probably one of their worst specials,
Mhm.
but I don't think it was meant for the average viewer, right? Like it was a love letter to the stuff they had done before.
Yeah.
To their relationship, to the jokes.
The
I
whole
don't-
time I was waiting for them to find the abandoned airport so they could do a drag race. And that never happened.
Yeah.
Because that's every episode. Well, and I'm sure Mike will get into it, but they had specials when they did Top Gear. Like that once a series or once a season, they would have a special where it was very much like the Grand Tour. The Grand Tour was only specials, and the regular show that was weekly was very, very different as far as how the Grand
They
Tour
would
was made.
review cars, and they would have a celebrity guest come on and drive on a.
I actually
track.
broke that down, right? Like the
Oh, yeah, go
traditional
for it.
show was they had the cool wall where they'd like bring up the new cars that were coming out and they'd rank how cool they were on a giant wall, which was very fun, right? They always did, like Seb said, star in a reasonably priced car, where they'd have these ridiculously huge celebrities race a terrible car around a racetrack.
Yeah.
Such a fun segment, right? You're not sitting there watching them do some boring interview. You're getting to watch them like really have a fun time ripping a little silly car around a professional racetrack. That was
I
very
think
fun.
Gordon Ramsay had the record too, right? Was it him?
I'm sure you could look that up if you really wanted me to.
No, I got it. Go ahead.
I could look it up. Oh, somebody.
Yeah, they also did. They did reviews, right? They did reviews, but they weren't like none of their reviews were like we're going to talk about horsepower and torque and mileage. Like they were so interesting, right? Like they were always doing it while they were driving the cars ridiculously fast around the track, talking, making jokes. I always really enjoyed it.
I loved when he was doing reviews. Like he's kind of like shitting on the car and like saying he's showing all the bad things about it, and then he'll just go, "Well, all that doesn't matter." And then he turns the corner, and then the rock music comes on, and he just starts freaking going pedal to the floor, just ripping the car and talking about how fast it is and the great things about it. And Jeremy Clarkson was very charismatic, very I think like a lot of people hate him. I thought he was a funny guy, and he really there was nobody on TV like him.
He's 100% the best part of the show.
I don't know if he works without the other two. Right?
I think so.
Like he's great. But in that show, you had James, who was like the nerdy car guy, into the mechanics, into like the engineering. And then you had Richard, who was into the American cars and the big muscle cars and was younger. Like, I just think the dynamic worked so well for that show. He's great. Listen, Jeremy's great. I love his farming show now on Amazon. But I think like the three of them together was where the magic was.
Wow, Matt LeBlanc.
Here are the fastest celebrity times. Now this could be from the new ones too. So I'm not sure.
No, I don't think Tom Cruise was on the new ones.
No, I'm just saying maybe some of the top ones are new ones. But I don't know who. I know Rowan Atkinson. I don't know John Bishop.
Bean.
Yeah, that's Mr. Bean, which is amazing. Michael Fassbender, we all know. That was Magneto, right? Michael Fassbender?
Yep.
Play Magneto. I don't know.
Nice.
A lot of these people that was one thing that I always fast forwarded through was when I didn't know the celebrity because it was a British movie star that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just fast forwarded to the hot lap.
Wow, Cameron Diaz is up there.
Yeah. Mick Fleetwood. Is he dead?
I think he might be.
Boris Becker. Jeff Goldblum. Will.i.am. Slash in the Wet. Yeah, these were great. And then they always had they did the Stig. The Stig would take the car that they highlighted for the episode around for a hot lap. And they had that wall. There was a separate wall for
tame racing driver.
Yes, a tame racing driver. Yeah,
some say.
Yeah, I love Jeremy. Jeremy was the best.
And like it was such like the show was every week. So it had like the regular segments that you'd look forward to so much. Like every time they said the Stig, I would just wait. I couldn't wait to hear what jokes he made about the Stig, right?
Yeah.
Like when he introduced him. It was I have missed the show for years. I will genuinely miss it now that it's gone.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think this episode was great. I actually watched it in chunks because I was like, I'll watch the first hour and then I'll watch the second hour. And I thought the second hour would have a little bit more oomph to it, but it kind of didn't. So I wasn't disappointed, and I still enjoyed the show, but it was very different from what it was very low energy compared to the normal stuff that they've done in the past.
I kind of think the magic of the early Top Gear was a lot of the stuff just happened.
Yeah.
Right. And then as the show went on, they wanted to recapture that. So they would script a lot of that stuff. Right. And they'd set them in situations that were contrived on purpose. And some of them it really worked for, and some of them it really didn't. And I think they really kind of leaned into it in this one. Right. Yeah. Like they were like, oh, we snuck away from their producer, and they show a crew of 90 people. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. You snuck away, like, so they were kind of hamming it up, putting the cars on the trains, going back to where the first special was, finding the old cars. Like, I'm sure those old cars weren't there. They definitely went and found those. Right. Yeah. Like it was really, I think it was an episode for the fans and for them. I don't think I'd ever watch this special again.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No.
But that's okay. Like they're allowed to. I think when you've done it for 22 years as well as they did it, take your victory lap, and that's what this was. This was them taking. We want to go out on one big adventure, my friends and I again, and we're gonna have fun doing it. Right. This is the victory lap, and sure, you've earned it. Right. Go ahead, go do it.
Right.
So I wrote down a bunch of questions about the show.
Before you get into the questions, I would just like to say that I have these little notepads, and I wrote 3 pages worth of notes, and I forgot it at work.
About the show?
About the show. About your questions. Like I was answering your questions.
Me too.
So I'm going to do So I just want to preface this. There are so many episodes. I don't know how many episodes there are. There's probably 300? Are there 300 episodes?
At least there's hundreds.
I was
22 seasons or whatever. Yeah, like it's a lot.
And 20 episodes a season. And I was having a very hard time picking out specific episodes that I liked, but I wrote down all my favorite memories. Like when I think of Top Gear, there are certain scenes that stick out in my mind. What is that? Sebby, is that your mic there?
What do you hear?
I'm hearing a whole. Is anyone else hearing that, or is it just me?
Yeah. A lot of static.
Yeah,
it's good now.
Yeah, it's good now. I was just when I close my eyes and I think of old Top Gear, there are certain scenes that show up in my head, and that's what I was searching out, like on Google and on YouTube and stuff like that, so I could kind of remember what my favorite things were. So if I don't have direct answers for your questions, that's why.
So let's take it more broad. What was everyone's favorite part of the show? Like, what was it? A segment? Was it something they did? Was it the specials? Was it the builds? Was it the hot laps? Like, what was your favorite part of the show? What made you fall in love with the show?
My favorite part of the show was when either Jeremy, when one of the 3 guys was driving the highlighted car for the show, and they got so passionate and emotional about the car. That's when you have a teacher that loves the subject, you like the class more. Right. Mm-hmm. And when I watched them talk about a car that was on a poster in their room when they were little, and their dream of driving that car is happening live, and you're watching them do it, and the joy on their face and the emotion, because they were very good writers. And I don't know if Jeremy wrote all of his stuff himself, but you felt what they were feeling in that moment. And that's what made me fall in love with that show. Those parts.
Yeah, I think it was genuine, right? Like, they would absolutely, there were moments where they would smile ear to ear, or like, this is mental, as they're going around the corner. Like, they genuinely enjoyed parts of it. And they would tell you, like, this car sucks, but it's insane to like whip the ass out on a curve, right? And you'd see them genuinely loving that. Like, I 100% get that. I 100% get that. What did you like, Seb?
I like the banter between the 3 of them. on the road trips, like the fact that like the rule with if anybody breaks down, like we'll see you later. We're not gonna help you. We're just gonna leave. I just stuff like that, like the chemistry between.
Well, it's Sebi's mic.
Sebi, your mic dropped out.
I think the banter between the three of them was just amazing. Like it was a lot of fun. It reminded me kind of us. And yeah, it was real, you know. It wasn't a fake. Which is the one thing that I didn't like towards the end of the show. Like you feel like a lot of the segments were kind of scripted, but like in the earlier episodes, like just the banter between the three of them was just real friends, genuine friends who loved each other and just were having the time of their lives. That's what I really liked about the show.
I rewatched one of the specials, Seb, where James has something happen with his car, and Jeremy, kind of being a dick, bumps into his car, and he gets a rock and throws it at him.
Yeah,
right? And like
pissed.
Really pissed. And then they cut to the third presenter, Richard. He's in there. He's like, I don't know what to say when one of your mates tries to murder another with a rock, right? Like you could tell it was genuinely like, what the fuck just happened? But like it was good. They kept that in the show. Like they were cool with each other. Like we've all been mad at each other, right? But you just like you put it aside and like 2 minutes later, I thought that was so that they were that genuine. He's like, I'm gonna murder you with a rock now, and he throws a rock at him. Yeah, it was great.
I'll never forget, Mike. Off topic, just to show you how like we fight. We got into one fight once last time when we were doing the old show, and you said, "Who made you the arbiter of funny?" That's what you texted me.
Did I?
I cut out a joke that you really wanted in there, and I was like, "Yeah, it wasn't funny." And you're like, you typed, "You are an asshole. Who made you the arbiter of funny?" And I remember looking at it, and I'm like, "The fuck's arbiter mean?" And I had to look up arbiter. And I was like, "Oh, he's mad." I was like, "All right, I won't do it anymore. Sorry, I won't cut out any more jokes."
I don't see. That's what I mean. I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
that was Tuesday for him.
Yeah,
no, it's just like, but that's what I mean. Like in the moment, they were able to share such a real moment, and then like, no, we're friends, right? Like I would have your back regardless. And that's the way they were, right? Like he threw a fucking rock at the guy, tried to kill him, and then a minute later they were laughing, probably that night having a beer. And I love that. What did you like, Joe? What was your favorite part of the show?
Well, I got in with the new series with Grand Tour, so I never really watched the Top Gear stuff.
Oh, you're missing out. You got to go back and watch them.
I didn't know that the show was going to end, but now I'll have something to watch. But I really like
the old British ones are great.
Yeah, gotta watch those. There's a Roku channel dedicated to it, I'm sure.
They're all on Amazon.
I rewatched
They're all
on
Freeverse too. If you don't have Amazon,
okay,
Freeverse, you can watch them all.
I rewatched all of the specials over the weekend because they're just easy to get through. But what I enjoyed the most is when, like Seb was saying, like they shit on each other. But like, yeah, your car broke down, but then I'm gonna play a prank on you on top of that.
Yeah,
I'm just not gonna let it stop.
Yeah,
and like, you see things and you're like, holy crap! Like you were saying, Mike and Steve. I watched the episode where James May car breaks through the ice. And he's like, he's sinking, and they got to go and help him. They're like, well, you froze my car like, 20 minutes ago, but I'm going to come and help you anyway because you're going to die and you're stuck.
Every once in a while, something genuinely happens that's like scary, and they leave that in. And I love when that real emotion comes through, where they're like, oh no, what do we do? And they actually have to figure it out.
In the Scandinavian episode, when they race, they're doing that, they're racing down that tunnel into the submarine base.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And my favorite episode.
Hits the wall.
Yeah.
Like at high speed. And
Richard Hammond almost lost his head. Like,
twice.
Twice. His car flipped. He was driving like a funny car and it flipped. And the roll cage was sinking into the dirt. Yeah. And like, it was close to, if it went any further, you would have gotten decapitated.
But
oh my God.
The best part of that, I mean, he's fine and he's okay, is for the rest of the show, anytime he drove a car, got in a crash, like they're like, isn't this the part where the helicopter comes and they cut your trousers off? like your friend almost dies. But we would do the same.
You would do the
thing.
same thing to me. Yeah.
The same exact thing, right?
But
and I loved that.
That episode that you were talking about, Mike, he crashes. Jeremy's waiting for Richard to show up, and Richard just drives very slowly. And I made it. That was a close one.
Yeah.
Your friend just got taken out in an ambulance. That's like one of you guys being like, Joe just wrecked his car. Whew, glad I'm safe.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. Like some of that stuff was, yes, they definitely, to Seb's point, started scripting and creating a lot of those situations. But the genuine moments when I think it was James also fell off the horse and broke his ribs, right? That was another one. Like there was a lot of genuine, which they did a lot of stupid things, right? And that was very fun. I agree. For me,
I like. Okay.
I really thought about it, and I think it's when they built things.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
In the regular show, there's one episode where they turn regular cars into caravans or like
Mike, it's
RVs.
So freaking funny.
And Jeremy takes like a 2-door coupe and makes it like an 18-story building. And the wind on the highway, you just see it like, and the two of his friends are sitting behind him. They're laughing so hard at him, they can't even catch their breath. It's like he's going to flip over at high speeds on the highway. And I loved when they built stuff.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
My favorite.
They didn't build it, right? They didn't build it, but it didn't matter.
In the last special, they even, when they had to convert their cars to train tracks.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious when they go, cue, there's only one thing left to do, cue the music. And then they played the A-Team music, and then they do a building montage of them playing with Legos.
Yeah, but that was kind of the point, right? Like they took like, hey, we know, we don't actually do this, right? Like, one of them was sewing, like sharpening a pencil, like it was all craziness.
And then they come back to their cars and they're like, basically trains now, and like all this engineering that was done in like one evening, and it was hilarious. I thought
they were always one evening, like somehow in one evening, and then like, and I thought the train bit was great because that train bit harkens back to a very early episode where they made a train.
Yeah,
they made a train, and like that was it. They set the fucking train on fire.
It was on fire, and I don't think that was planned. I think that happened organically.
Oh, that was but I love that. Like, we're gonna build a train out of caravans. They just built a train. I love that building stuff. They make amphibious cars. Like they made the first electric car.
That one's my favorite build.
That one
it looks like the dog car from Dumb and Dumber, but it's all metal. Yeah, Jeff. It looks like Jeff, but it's all metal.
They named him Jeff.
Did they? And they
named the car Jeff.
That's right, with a G. And they're like, Richard, you sit in the middle. And he goes, where am I going to put my head? So they just cut a hole and put like a turret.
Periscope nest.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I'm sorry, Seb. I cut you off.
No, James May built a blimp out of a caravan.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
And then Richard. So it's like, well, now you don't have to drive your caravan on the motorway. But I bet you're wondering, but when you get to the campground, you're going to need a car to get around. That's when your friend, and then it's Richard Hammond driving a Lamborghini. He's like, totally not practical for caravanning, but you'll have the nicest car in the camp.
They made fun of caravanning a lot.
Oh, yeah, they hated
that a lot.
This is really early on. Did any of you ever see the one where they turned the Reliant rocket into a space shuttle?
Yeah. And they're in the bunker,
they literally launch a car and like on boosters, like a space shuttle. Like
it made it like 100 feet.
Yeah, and then it exploded.
Yeah, right. And their faces when it exploded, I don't think they were expecting that.
No, I think they were trying to separate it from the boosters, and the whole thing just explodes. Yeah. That's like the ambition of like, we're going to take a little 3-wheeled car and turn it into a space shuttle. And someone's like, this is a great idea. Let's throw some money behind it. Oh, I loved that so much.
Yeah, that was fun stuff.
Does everyone have a favorite special? Because Joe mentioned the specials.
I do. Yeah, mine's Vietnam.
Same.
When they have to all like, because you have to remember
Clarkson,
that
fail. Clarkson, fail.
Jeremy hates motorcycles, and they forced him to drive a motorcycle across Vietnam in
Yeah.
monsoon weather.
Yeah.
And they had to get licenses. They had to get the license to drive the motorcycles, and Clarkson kept failing the test. And then they get themselves these leisure suits, and they're all riding around in these leisure suits. They think they're hot shit. And then
the helmets.
and they get the helmets.
They can't get helmets because they're too big. They're Europeans compared to Asians. So he wears a colander, and the rain's coming through it.
What about Richard's ship on the back? They bought him a ship, like a big wooden ship, and it's bigger than the actual motorcycle. He has it tied to the back, and he keeps losing pieces, and he stops and picks up all the pieces. And he I think he keeps all that stuff. Like I think they keep a lot of the cars that they test if they still work. But yeah, the Vietnam one is that's my favorite.
When I made the list of the specials, I put that one in gold. I'm like, I bet you that's everyone's favorite.
That's my favorite one. But there are so many good ones.
The part of the episode where Jeremy's like, we got to christen the boat, and he throws the bottle of wine across, and it just goes thud and just jingles around his U-boat that he bought. I was like, that is
the American special is great.
The Seaman special is the one you're talking about, Joe, where they do the boats.
Yeah, which one are you talking about, Steve? Because that's Vietnam as well.
Oh, Steve's talking about the one where they take 3 motorcycles from South Vietnam into North Vietnam.
And they're not even motorcycles. They're like mopeds. Like
that one.
You haven't seen that one?
Oh,
no.
Joe, that's the one to see.
You got to watch that one.
That's like where they were at the peak of who they are. That one's really good. The boats one is, oh my God, that one's so funny. That I had that as like, that might be my favorite, which is weird because that's a Grand Tour one, not even a Top Gear one. But some of the Grand Tour specials were so good.
Did they make the hover? Did they make the hovercraft on Grand Tour, or was that on Top Gear?
Top Gear. They might have made a hovercraft in both.
Yeah,
like they make a hovercraft very early on in the English channels.
The Search for the Nile was good. I like the Search for the Nile. That's a good one.
I thought the Building the Ridge over the River Kwai.
That was
which ended up being the River Cock.
Yes.
They just drive big, giant, ridiculous trucks. That was excellent.
Where was the one where Jeremy drove a Land Rover, a red Land Rover that he absolutely fell in love with, but broke down?
Oh, that might have been the first the Bolivia special.
Yeah, I think it was.
Where
they had to drive it off the boats. Yeah,
that's a good one too. That might be my second favorite.
They went back because they do Colombia in the new show. Right,
Colombia got dangerous. Wasn't Colombia the dangerous one where they had to leave or something?
Patagonia.
No, I think they almost started a war, and when they went to Argentina,
that's the Patagonia special. They never finished it.
Oof.
They never finished that special. My favorite might be Mongolia. When they get dropped off and they have to build the car.
Oh yeah,
it's just the 3 of them sitting in a car for 2 hours. Just being like, it's the most them being them episode ever. Because like they can't drink. It's just the 3 of them. It's so then it was. I thought that was a really fun one. They wouldn't let Richard drive because they didn't want to get medevaced out. Like that running joke. I thought that was because that's just them, right? Being them, sitting right next to one another. I think that's such a good special. And they call it the fattest one wins because they didn't eat for so many days. The fattest one would have survived. Oh. I love that.
I like the USA when they get chased out of a gas station in the deep south because somebody wrote on James May's car, "I'm with Hillary," or "I'm voting for Hillary."
Man love on
man
one
love,
side of it.
Yeah. And then they were like terrified. They thought they were going to get lynched. It was hysterical. And I think it was a special. It was on Top Gear when the 3 of them race. Richard is driving a motorcycle. James May is driving like an old Rolls Royce, and then Jeremy Clarkson's in the Flying Scotsman, and they race from London.
No, James is driving a train in that one.
Yeah, this is Flying Scotsman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's driving like a big old steam engine.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Stig's in that one too. He has to take public transportation.
That's right.
The Stig's
They
just
want
on
this
the
to go
subway.
the fastest to get from London to, I think, a town up in the north of England.
Yes.
And the three of them race up there, and Jeremy has a huge lead, but he has to keep making stops to fill the tanks of water for the train, and you think he's gonna win it. At the end, he's getting out of the train. You see him running. He's like, I think I did it. And then he gets to the bar where they're supposed to meet, and it's James May just drinking a beer.
Yeah.
Jeremy is covered in soot. He's completely black. He's exhausted. And then James is like, I got you something. And then he like collapses on the floor. He's drinking a beer. And then,
I always like the races episodes.
yeah, those were really good. That's one of my favorites. That
I
was an old
listed all
Top Gear
those.
one.
They did so many races on the old
Yeah.
show. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That one, when it ends, he said, on that note, I think you've ended Top Gear because the car lost finally.
And they're like, where's Hammond? And he's on the highway still, like he can't move his legs because he's been in a
A
crouching
motorcycle
position
for so long, yeah.
for so long.
What was the
They
one
raced
where
everything.
he started at a soccer pitch? He was in a Mustang. That was a race. Clarkson was driving a Mustang from one place to another, and he started at Wembley Stadium, I think. And he was on the soccer pitch, and he had to race somebody else going somewhere. I forget. That was a really good one. There was another one where he had to do it on one tank of gas. He had to get from
They
one
all
place to
did it
another
on one tank of gas.
Oh, it was all of them? Okay.
They all did that. They went from like somewhere in like the Nordic countries back to London on one tank of gas. And they're trying to figure out how to maximize, turn off the air conditioning, the windows. Yeah. They all did it on one tank of gas. Yeah. That's like they did so much stuff so different, so well.
Yeah.
Right. The races, the build, it was so fun. I was, as I was doing the research for this episode, I was really sad when I found out that they started one special. They didn't get to finish because of COVID, and it was Russia.
Oh.
And they would, the whole premise was they were escaping a gulag in 3 rally cars. And I thought that would, driving across like Siberia, that would have been wild. Shame they didn't get to do that one. They used those same 3 cars in the Scandinavian one, like the Audi, the Evolution, the Lancer, the Evo, yeah. And
when they went to Romania, it was beautiful too. Like they're in like all these like they're talking like Borat the whole entire time, and Richard Hammond keeps telling Jeremy, he's like, oh, it's a custom here if you take out your penis and put it in a man's hand. You didn't know that? You should definitely do that. And doing all stuff like that. And they're stopping like this little village, like very poor people, and they're all in like supercars, and there's these little kids with like a big mallet smacking James May on the head, and the Jeremy and Richard are laughing their ass off at him. Like, this is unbelievable. That's a good one. But then they get to this road in a valley, and they take a shot of the road from a drone or a helicopter, and it looks like a Formula One track inside a valley. It's amazing. So that's another great thing about the show. The scenery, the
cinematography was great.
Yeah, it's amazing. Some of the most beautiful things you'll ever see are on that show.
Do you want to use the last 15 minutes or so about our, like, how we would grand tour? Like, what would be our grand tour? Kind of, if we could make one.
I was thinking, Steve, when we finally get the Patreon up and running again, we get listener.
Yeah,
that should be our goal for 100,000.
100,000 listeners.
Dollars. No, we're gonna get there. 1,000 listeners,
so.
$10 a listener. That's not 100,000, is it? Yeah, no, it is. No, it's 10,000. All right,
it's 10,000. Yeah,
that should be
one car.
That should be our goal. A Top Gear style road trip where we just
we're gonna do it. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So what would you do? So if we made it to that, what would you do, Mike? What would be your Mr. Willman instructions?
I think I think realistically, I would want to do something here, right in the States.
Yeah.
I would probably say you want to go somewhere where it's somewhat not like driving up and down I-95 is nothing great. I said Blue Ridge Parkway. It's
Okay.
450 miles in beater cars through like the Shenandoah Valley, through the Great Smoky Mountains, the Virginias and the Carolinas. Like beautiful scenery, be fun drive, great to see. Plus, if you had an old beater car, it'd be rough. All the climb and elevation. That's what I figured. And what car? I would buy my first car again.
Which was
you'd have a 92 Jeep.
So what would be the rules for the cars?
$500.
Because
that was one thing we didn't talk about. They used to do the cheap car challenges. They don't even do
those
them
for fun.
Yeah, but
those
$500.
Are some of the best ones, actually.
$500 for 500 miles. That's what it is. There you go.
There you go.
$500, 500 miles. Can you make a $500 car go 500 miles? I would do my original Jeep, my first car. Terrible car, but it would definitely be worth doing again. I was bad when I had it. I can't imagine what it's like 30 or 40 years later.
All right. Sebi actually sent me a picture. See if I can find it.
It's gonna be a moped with a little basket and a baguette.
Oh, my computer. Let's see if I can do that. Oh boy, this is a new feature I haven't used yet. Upload file. Okay, let's try this.
So mine would be something that you're almost there. Can I start talking about?
Keep talking about it.
So mine would be something that I think we spoke about doing something like this a bunch of times, but it would be a road trip cross country, and it would be trying to go to as many ballparks
that's a good
as
one.
we can. So I had a map, so Steve can get it up there, of starting in Boston and then heading down to either New York clubs, then Philly, Washington, and then I would do Washington, then Philly, and then Pittsburgh, and then just go across the country and see how many stadiums we can go in a car. And for each car, for the rules for the car, it would be the car that your team won. The year your team won a World Series, you would have to do it in that car.
Oh no!
So mine would be 1969 Challenger.
That's great. That's a great concept.
Really
Dodge Charger. Yeah. So I don't know if we can.
I'd be in 09 something. I'd have to buy an 09. Is there a limit on price?
No.
Okay.
Oh well, all right.
Yeah, you can buy a really nice.
It doesn't have to be the last year that they won it. It could be any year.
There are no nice 1969 anythings.
Sure, there are. 69 Mustang.
That old cars used to fall apart.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be.
They made them out of chewing gum and hopes and American ambition. They fell apart.
You're not gonna like my choice then. Let's see.
That's a really good one, Seb.
That would be a lot of fun. And then
really good idea.
Game would be in Dodger Stadium.
Nice. So this is my roadmap. This is called the Natchez Trace Parkway, and it goes through Middle Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi, and it ends really close to the coast. So I would make the ending here the beach, okay, or somewhere close to the beach. I would change this slightly, but it's a very off the grid kind of scenic highway. It's a scenic highway, so every couple of miles there's like rest stops that you can get out, and there's special views, like you can pull over and look at the view. You can pull over and see an old house, and it'll have like a write-up about the house, or some type of trail with maybe Civil War stuff, things like that. This would probably take, if you drove it in a normal car nonstop, like you were going on vacation or something, this would probably take you about 8 hours. So I assume because what we're going to do is we're going to buy 1970s Ford and Chevy trucks, pickup trucks.
Oh, cool.
Oh, we can camp in the beds. I love it.
You can camp in
Do
the
a build
beds.
montage.
Yeah. Like they have to be carbureted and like old school and no air conditioning. Just roll down the windows and open up those little triangle windows and, you know, put your straw hat on. Well, sure. If you have one, if you can find one, that's fine. But it has to be a Chevy or a Ford. So it can either be an F-100 or, you know, a C10 or something like that. And that would probably take 2 or 3 days. I think it's actually a realistic thing that we could do. And then we would just go to the beach at the end and just hang out.
Those cars are probably very expensive now because they're like vintage.
Well, I have one.
Yeah, I know, but you'd want beaters.
I got it for a steal. Oh, mine's a beater. I had to fix it up. I put after I bought it for $10,000, I probably put another 13 into it. You know, I had to rebuild the transmission and rebuild the carb and redo the inside.
You have to do that laying under a tree somewhere in the woods to make it a show.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that would be my road trip.
Mine would be, I'm going to steal from Seb, and Mike said something that I had an idea for. Across country, but we're going to go into as many states as we can.
Mm-hmm.
You have a budget of $5,000. Now, your budget's going to either be for your car and your camping gear.
Oh, good idea.
Right? So, like, you want to get a nice car that you can sleep in and tolerate.
Yep.
Your budget's $5,000 for the car. If you're like, I could get a cheaper car and get some, like, nice camping gear.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that.
And then you try to touch as many states as
to
you can.
see where your head's at. That's a good idea, Joe. Oh, I like that one too.
Maybe you can throw in like national parks in there or something. You have to hit up national parks or something in every state that you go to or something, or a state park or something.
That's a good idea. Throw in your food for it too.
Figure
it out.
Any car you want. Any car you want.
What about gas?
Ooh.
You get a cheaper like that's gonna burn your gas. That's gonna be.
So everybody's driving a Honda Civic.
Nah, gas with
a big ass tent in the back.
Nah, gas.
Honda Civic and a Coleman.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you get the camp gear. I think would be the camp gear in the car would be a good thing. You can't count the gas. That's a tough one.
Because you might be able to get a cheap truck that you can convert a bed, you know, into sleeping quarters. Yeah. You might be able to get a cheaper car. You can buy like a tow along trailer. Yeah. You can get a really nice car with some shitty camping gear.
Didn't they make what was that? The Aztec that the back turns into a bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Walter White's
car ever made. Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother had one of those.
A conversion van, right? A shag wagon.
Oh, they're not going to make the West Coast trip. No way.
It's going to be $10,000 just in gas to get across the country in that thing.
But you got to account for like the city traffic that you got to get through, the mountains that you got to get through in Pennsylvania. Then you're going to hit all the flat land in between.
That goes forever.
Then you're going to hit some mountains again. And then you're going to hit city driving when you hit anywhere on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
$5,000's a doable number.
Yeah.
If we get this podcast cooking again.
Yeah.
I
did get over 100 views on my MI Races video. We're getting there.
Huh.
I just came up with drinking my my whiskey here. I noticed that my glass says the Whiskey Trail. That's an actual thing. That could be another challenge.
Yep.
Because if you like, there are certain distilleries that belong to the Whiskey Trail, little thing, and they give you a piece of paper like with a map on it with all the distilleries that you can hit, and there's like 40 of them, and it's between Tennessee and Kentucky mostly, and we could do all those. We can go to every distillery and get ourselves a bottle of whiskey each, and drive our cars and have a good old time.
I just can't imagine insuring a car just for the road trip.
No, you get minimal insurance.
Right.
Oh yeah, you get the minimal. And dude, my old truck is like, I think I pay $800 a year for the truck, insurance wise. I don't even know if I pay that much. I might pay $600 a year for the.
The big problem
truck
would be fixing them. Like they have a support crew.
Joe knows. Oh, we didn't tell you about this. This could be in the wasting time. So did you ever hear of vapor lock? So
I know
vapor
the name.
lock,
I don't know what it is.
vapor lock basically is what happens when your fuel lines are either too small, or I guess like the fuel gets too hot and becomes vapor and gets stuck in the fuel lines. So this happened to me once or twice, and what happens is you turn the car off and the car will fart, right? The car will be off and then it'll go after you've already turned it queefs. And the brake pedal gets real hard to push and you can't push it anymore. And then like you can't start the car until the vapor gets out of the gas line. Right. So this happened to me once or twice, and it took me 6 or 7 tries to get it, and then it would just come out. So me and Joe, I drove Joe to the gas station because I have to get non-ethanol gas, special gasoline for the truck. And I turned the car off to pump the gas, and it goes, it queefs on me. And I'm like, shit, I really hope this doesn't, become a thing. And now I can't start the car. I'm in the pump. Like I'm in the stall for the pump, and people are waiting online to get more gas. This guy next to me goes, "You want me to get my Chevy to help you out?" I'm like, "No, then we'll have 2 trucks that are broke." Like we're fighting about like which truck company's better. And then I'm like, "Joe, I'm so sorry. It's never happened to me before. I'm so embarrassed."
I thought Steve was putting the moves on you, drive you out somewhere. The car just stalled. I don't know what happened. It's cold. Why don't you pull a little closer? Nice big bench seats.
That's right. Nice big bench seat. It could have slid right over. But that was funny. And then I had to Google like how to like fix it, because it normally just fixed itself. But this was going on like 10, 15 minutes at this point, and nothing was working. And if it ever happens to you, you keep your foot down on that gas pedal and start that car and just keep the foot down completely, and it'll force the vapors out. The rush of liquid will force the vapors out, and it'll start again. But
that's before fuel injection, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is all mechanical fuel inject. Mechanical fuel pumps. It's not even electric fuel pumps, or you know what I mean. But all right, guys. I think that's going to do it. We're coming up on 2 hours. This was a great show. Great having you guys. Joe, are you going to come back for more, Joe? I know we really had to coax Joe into this show, but it's there you go. That's my boy. All right, man. So any ideas for next week? Any ideas for next week's podcast?
No, we'll come up.
Penguin. We could watch Penguin if you want.
I'm not going to watch Penguin.
Agatha All Along.
Probably
your favorite P. Diddy song.
He's had a week, huh?
Yeah. Oh, did he get arrested?
Well, on that bombshell.
Yeah.
On that bombshell.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Sevi. On that bombshell. What's he say after that?
Back to the studio.
Bye.
See you later.